bring in Schefter in the Domino's pregame headquarters because, as of course you are already aware, the Bears have since fired their head coach, Matt Eberflus. Schefter, what more can you tell us about the situation in Chicago?
Well, Greeny, it surprised absolutely nobody that Matt Eberflus got fired on Friday. It was the first in-season firing that the Bears have had in their 100-plus year history as a franchise. They were on a 6-game losing streak that started against the Washington Commanders in the game in which the Commanders won the game on the Hail Mary. But it was the play before the Hail Mary where they threw a sideline pass to Terry McLaurin for just over 10 yards that allowed them to get into position to complete the Hail Mary, where Matt Eberflus came under fire for allowing that pass completion. It was any number of on-field decisions that led to his dismissal in the 6-game losing streak. And now the Bears turn to offensive coordinator Thomas Brown as the interim head coach. He will be given an opportunity to try to win this head coaching job, but there will be other candidates. And the search, of course, will be led by the president, Kevin Warren, and the general manager, Ryan Poles, who is expected to be retained in Chicago. Ryan Poles was a teammate at Boston College with Brian Flores, the Vikings defensive coordinator. Knows him well. We know that Caleb Williams played for Cliff Kingsbury in USC. Maybe there's a way to get them together, although the Bears declined to hire Kingsbury as their offensive coordinator this year. And, of course, Ben Johnson will be the name that everybody in Chicago is paying attention to, and I think he will have some interest in that job. We'll see if the Bears can find a way to lure him to Chicago. But in Chicago, it's been the same old story. If we go back over the last decade, every single time this franchise has used a first-round draft pick on a quarterback, it's gone on to fire its head coach that very same season. That is not the recipe for success. That is something the Bears will be trying to change, and that will be the biggest challenge this team faces this year as it tries to find its next head coach, Green.
Candidly, it's organizational incompetence. We've talked about it on Get Up and all sorts of other shows forever. It is the absolute worst way to go about trying to develop a young quarterback. But we'll get into some of the bigger picture stuff in a minute. Rex, to your credit, you were on Get Up with me the morning after the Hail Mary that you said this is going to destroy their season, and you were right. Let's go right back to that play. We just watched it. Yeah. Where did it go wrong? What was the biggest mistake the Bears made?
Well, as soon as he gets sacked, timeout, boom, done. It's easy. I mean, I've been around this thing all my life. When I was knee-high to a grasshopper, you called timeout in a 2-minute situation on a sack 100% of the time. Stop. You don't need to say anything else. It's not this guy's fault. No, it stops with the head coach. Done. Timeout. It's easy. Timeout. As soon as he takes sack, timeout. Because why? Especially in that situation. A touchdown, a field goal ties the game. Yep. A touchdown wins the game. What the hell are you thinking? Like, yes. This was so ridiculous, but not surprising to me. Not surprising. I told you guys, after the players know better. The players know better. When he butchered that situation in the Washington game, that's when your team has a tendency to implode. Why? Now all of a sudden they're pointing fingers at the coach. They know it's the coach. Right.
So
they know it's the coach.
The situation there, and Alex, we talked about them changing the play. What do you see when you know the play is being changed by Caleb? What is he doing?
Well, he audibled.
He audible on the helmet, right?
Obviously, they're trying to save the timeout. To preserve it, to kick the field goal, right? To get 10 yards to kick the field goal.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is now you're the head coach, Rex, and you see him changing the play. Now that's really messed up. What is he doing? Right. Now you call the timeout if you're the head coach. There's your second chance to call a timeout, which you just blow. And now clock's running and Caleb throws it deep.
Which still would have been better, right? Call the timeout with 15 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can still run you still can get an
There it is right there.
play,
He's changing it.
Yeah.
He's changing the play. Call a timeout.
And this is 1,000% a coach's decision to expect a rookie quarterback, right? First, the number 1 overall pick, you're swimming out there. You're handling a no-huddle situation. You're just trying to operate. All of this has to come from the sideline. To Rex's point, this is a coach's decision. This is not on a rookie quarterback just trying to help his team figure out how to, obviously try to win a ball game, kick a game-tying field goal. Right? In this situation, it has to come in from the sideline. To me,
you know what I'm seeing, Randy, on this one? I'm seeing a 14-32 mentality. Because the mentality I'm thinking is, let's win the game.
Yes.
Win the game.
Right.
I'm not worried about trying to kick the game-tying field goal. Of course, that's going to happen, you know, in that situation or later. But are you kidding me? The first thing I'm thinking, timeout immediately. We still have a chance to win the game in regulation.
Right.
Why does that not dawn on this football team? Why? Because you're 14-32. That's why.
And as a player, I mean, Moss, I'm sorry, I'm furious. I'm just so furious if I'm a player on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, I'm going to go into that locker room. I want to be so mad at Caleb. I want to say, hey, man, take the binky out of your mouth, man. It's time to play football and make decisions. Like, what are you doing changing the play? But can you really do that? I mean, the kid's a rookie. The kid said, like, if this was later in my career, I would have maybe called the timeout myself. But there's so much on the coaching staff for development of a young head coach. I would do, Schefter mentioned it earlier in the show in terms of Ben Johnson. I would back up the Brinks truck to get him to come be the next head coach.
Let's get Randy in. Go.
Y'all, to me, I'm looking at, like, Brew, you know this like I know it. One thing about a coach, a great coach, we call it situational football. And one thing that I've learned about playing throughout all my years, that there are situations that happens in the game that you cannot practice or coach, but you coach to the best of your ability of the experience that you've had. So I want to fast forward, you know, like push fast forward on this thing, because Thomas Brown has a chance of an opportunity. I know they may be looking for their head coach, but you have a good defense with a damn good corner in Johnson. You got a great offense, because we were sitting up here talking about how great the weapons were in this division. So I think practicing situational football moving forward. Thomas Brown, I hope you hear us sitting up here talking, because now y'all have 10 days or 7 or 8 days to prepare for your next opponent. Situational football has to be a period in your practice that you have to coach defensively and offensively. If you're able to do that, I think we can see some better things happening for the Chicago Bears later in the season.
To me, this is all about, you said it, Teddy, QB development. This is about Caleb's development, right? The decision to move on from Eberflus. Thomas Brown has been the only glimmer of hope in Caleb's development this entire year. I mean, his QBR has doubled in the last 3 weeks with Thomas Brown calling plays. And I think, obviously, you lose 6 in a row, playoffs are out of sight. The rest of this season is about Caleb's development.
And, Rex, you have been singing the praises of Ben Johnson. You've called him the next Bill Walsh. All the rest of that, Schefter says he might have some interest in the situation in Chicago. What would you think of that fit?
Oh, my God. I mean, wherever Ben Johnson goes, that's going to be an incredible hire for somebody. Because, like you say, I think this guy's special. Absolutely. You think Caleb Williams is improving now? Just wait till Ben Johnson gets a hold of and all that. So, to me, that's going to be the biggest hire. The Bears aren't going to be the only team trying to get him. That list is going to be long.
Yeah, there have already been 3 firings so far this season, and we'll see what other openings there are.